Hello, everybody. Here we are, back again. Friday, end of the week. Woohoo! Been a great week too. Hi, it's Cheryl Anderson here. Now, today I'm going to talk about negative energy because it's something that has been a talk between myself and me and two other friends. Just discussing what is it? Can you have these emotions, these feelings that are so powerful that they start affecting the tangible things in our lives, the people, occurrences, situations. Now, negative energy is incredibly powerful. Hi, Lois, how are you? Welcome. Negative energy can hop inside, sit down with the weight of an ocean. It just hops in and sits in your solar plexus and just starts to not infect and not just affect. It seeps into the thoughts, into your feelings, into memories. It just like hops in there. It's like having a glass of milk and putting a bit of chocolate sauce in it, chocolate flavoring or whatever that is. The chocolate flavoring doesn't just stay where you tip it in a little, dollop shape. It just starts to spread throughout the milk until eventually the milk is not necessarily fully the color of chocolate, but it is tainted by the chocolate. Okay, probably could have used a better example because I know lots of people love chocolate. But my thing is that it's something that that comes into you, into your energy field, into your vibratory field, and just starts to color or sully everything else that's going on inside of you. You could have had some great news, some good news, and everything's wonderful, and your negative energy kicks in for whatever reason. Let's just say it's there. What it can do is it actually changes your perception of something that moments or, an hour before, let's say, was happy. Oh my gosh, I've had this great news. This thing's happening. Oh, I'm so excited. Negative energy can come in and actually start to change the way you're thinking about things that, like I said, you could have been super happy about. You'll start to see cracks in it, or but it can't be that good, or what if it does this? What if this happens? What if? So how to explain it? It's not the strongest vibration, all right? It's very dense, and it's when it hops in, it slows the vibration. It slows our vibration down to a point where we feel really heavy, really dense, really sad. Because what happens, and I've covered this in other videos, is whatever we are thinking about creates chemicals in our mind, in our brain. The brain starts creating these chemicals that drop down through the spinal cord, through into all of our organs, all of our, every system in your body is affected by it. So what we feel when we're in a negative state and negative energy is down comes the really heavy chemicals that actually make your muscles feel heavy. I swear if you get on the scale, you must weigh more. That's what it feels like. It can actually have that big an effect on the physical system. So when you're feeling down, negative energy, you don't want to be skipping around singing la 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 and putting on some really great tune and, getting happy, because that's not the chemical response going on in your body. This is why people in states of depression and stuff like this can get overcome with it, because it's a physical feeling, it's a physical effect that your body is going through because of the thoughts. Everything starts with the thought first, right? But this negative energy, once down in the body, does have like a numbing, dense, thick, dark feeling to it. So I was asking myself and talking with these two friends at different times, you know, about different things. And I sat and I thought about, what is it that I do? What do I do in my mind? Because essentially, I'm a positive person. It's just how it is. I have down days. I have incredibly down days. I'm not always up. I'm not always happy. And, you know, I can't always just, you know, snap out of it. Wouldn't it be great if you could? You know, I could bottle that stuff and sell it, right? And I'd be very, very rich. Now, the first thing, which actually this is a bit of a go-to for anything on a negative tilt, anything where you're feeling down or a bit overcome, you might be you might be in a retail job and you're having to deal with an influx of negative people or negative situations, right? Plenty of times. We're all human. We all have emotions, and they come and they go, and they here and they leave, and we're not always in control. You can't always be in control. And it's not a bad thing. It's fine. Being angry is not bad. Being down is not bad. These things are not bad. But however, they are up to you as to how long you're going to be stuck in them or feel powerless and in a victim mode to these feelings, these emotions. My number one go-to is always gratitude. Man, that'll kick anything in the butt. Mind you, when it takes a little, I don't know exactly how long, it takes a little bit, maybe moments, maybe a couple of minutes before you can start to get different chemicals from the brain to drop down, because this is the whole aim, all right, is changing the effect that's going on in here. Because remember, I say in all my videos, every single thing starts with a thought. Then there is an emotion, and then there is an action. So if you're not feeling great, the go-to place is in your head. And the first go-to thing in your head to put in here is gratitude. Even if you start with the very simple one, I'm so grateful for air. Yes, air. Because you wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be here, no one would be here without air, right? So forge on, because your brain wants to drop back, you know, your body's already feeling these feelings. So it's, you know, it's teetering. It's like, I'm happy. No, I'm not. I'm happy. I'm not. What's the next thing you're grateful for? Is it you've got a really cool pet that you love to death? Do you have great family? Do you have a friend that's there for you? Are you grateful for paying off a car that you struggled with to pay it off? Gratitude can be anything, because each one of us finds gratitude in different things and in different situations and for very different reasons. However, gratitude itself is exactly the same in every one of us. The act of gratitude, the thought of gratitude creates the very same chemical response in our brains across the board. I think unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, or, you know, there's some serious stuff going on there, then I don't know. I can't speak on that because I'm not a sociopath and I'm not a psychopath. I don't know. I'm not a brain scientist. I'm just a human that's trying to connect with all of the parts of herself to become better rounded. So gratitude, even if you find one thing, two things, three things, once you start, you can actually start going, I'm grateful for my joggers so I can walk. I'm grateful it's a sunny day today. I'm grateful I made the bus to go to work. I'm grateful there was enough butter to put on my sandwich today for work. I'm grateful, there's plenty of things, right? Now that starts the whole action, right? Your brain's starting to go, oh, okay. So little bit by little bit, each time you do it, gratitude, like sit in it for a minute. Oh, not a minute, sit in it for a moment. I'm grateful that I had something to eat today. Just in that little moment, in your mind's eye, you can do this really, really quickly. What does it taste like for that sandwich? Just have a bite. It's so nice, because without butter, it's not so great. How is it, you know, oh, I'm so glad I made it to the bus on time today. Oh, I feel so good sitting on that bus going, phew. Don't have to wait for the next one, or I don't know, whatever you would have to do. So that little moment, what you're doing is you're creating a thought, a moving thought that's requiring other parts of your brain to join in. Because if you're trying to taste a sandwich in your mind's eye, or the relief of getting on the bus, because the opposite would have been you have to hump it and walk or wait for the next bus and you're panicking, are you going to be late for work or school or an appointment? So in doing that, you've now activated different parts of your brain. You've given it a to-do list, all right? That's now a higher priority than what was in there before, creating the lower energy, the negative energy. Now, the second go-to is physical activity. All right, hop up, walk up and down the hallway, go for a walk, vacuum, sweep, mop, do some washing, whatever it is, move. Okay, just start moving. Dance. Usually dancing's pretty quick and easy. Most people have a phone. You can turn a bit of music on, a stereo, computer. I don't know, have a song that you really love that you know just immediately gets you feeling good. You know what I mean? And as soon as you start moving, actually dancing's probably the better one because it comes with music, so you can activate the brain on that level. But the physicality, right, the being physical, starts to help shift these chemicals through your body and out, because you have a waste system that takes care of these things. Now, physical activity is a really good way. Moving muscles, everything starts to work, your heart's pumping and your lungs are going, everything's moving. So what's happening now is you've got the brain going, it's starting to create better thoughts, and it's little pictures in your mind's eye about the things that you're grateful for. Next thing, your body's moving, all right? So it's starting to get rid of these negative chemicals, which are toxic. Yes, we can make toxic chemicals inside our bodies. We don't even need anything external to do it. We can create toxic environments in our body via our thoughts. Okay. Now, if you're doing something physical, it's probably good to have a drink of water, a cup of tea, because water will move through things faster. If you're trying to lose weight, drink a lot of water. That's what pushes all the food through, gets everything through and gets it done. That's a good tip. You can really lose a lot of weight if you drink water. Don't go crazy. You're not an ocean. Then, okay, the third one. Now, you couldn't do this at the beginning because you just wouldn't be able to do this in the beginning. The third one is, imagine in your hand your beating heart. Yes, I know. You just use your imagination. I mean, yes, it's going to be beating, but what's it joined to? You know, just imagine it sitting in your hands, beating. There it is. That's the machine that keeps the big one going. Because we all know you can be brain dead and your body will still function. Take that heart out, though, you haven't got a hope in hell. You haven't got a hope in hell. So once you visually see this in your hand, your heart in your hand, what it does is it sparks this thing in your brain, which is over and above just your human self, your personality, your persona, your name, your gender, that sort of business. What this does, it has a direct connection to your brain. When you are holding your heart in your hands, it's sort of a combination of realizing how frail you are, also how absolutely powerful beyond a measure that you are. The heart, actually, I really wish I could remember what it was. A heart in an hour can generate enough energy. I was so sure it actually could, maybe it can light up a house for an hour. It's this unbelievable amount of energy that comes out of the heart, separate from just functioning in the body. So they are my three things that I would suggest. No, I don't do them all the time. No, I'm not perfect. I don't do everything right all the time. In fact, today and yesterday, I've been having a negative, well, not a negative moment. It's just been a bit difficult. I'm going through some growth in my life. Different things are happening. I'm learning different skills. I'm dealing with stress on different levels. And I think it's a bit of, sometimes you get to overload, and it's just about, okay, how do you diffuse this to a point where you can continue on? So they are my three, and I hope that they work and they are of value to you, to the person watching this, because they're very, very simple. Again, don't need to tell a soul that you're doing this. It's free and it works. You can do this for children too. Same thing. Adults, children, the whole lot. It's simple, it's practical, it's free, it's easy. You can do it as often as you like. But what happens is you start to become master of your own thoughts, master of your ability to get to rescue yourself in a manner if you're in a funky moment, or you're down, or you're angry, or all of anything negative, right? We know what the negatives are. But in having these tools, you might already have some. And this video just reminds you to sit down and maybe write them down. What are they? What do you do? What's your go-to? In writing them down, they become more... we love things when they're written down. When we take them out of our head and put them on paper, or we take stuff out of our head and we speak it. It changes the information. It either nullifies it or makes it smaller. Like when we talk about our problems or dramas, or we've got a bit of stress, or the brain's just going crazy, there's just too much going on. We women understand this because we'll sit and we'll download with a friend. I don't know. Now, I just got caught in that because I was just thinking about a download with a friend years ago, and it really was like that, crying in arms and the whole bit. But when you let it out verbally, it actually loses its size. It's a bit like the Wizard of Oz, and the wizard, you know, he's got this big booming voice, and everyone thought he was this big scary, you know, wizard. Until, you know, who was it, Dorothy, or was it Toto, pulled the curtain open, and it was just that man speaking into a big speaker making this big noise, you know. When we speak about our problems or our worries or our concerns or repeated thoughts that just keep running round and 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 round, when you speak about them, it actually takes them from being enormous to very, very, very small. And something much easier to work with and much easier to digest. Because we have to come to terms with things. We digest them. We throw away what we don't need. We keep what we do. We come to terms with it. I use the word digest because I think that's what happens when we can put it back into ourselves as a positive energy when we've taken all the negative out. So in writing down, it becomes more of a real thing. So if you wrote down your 3 go-tos, or 2 or 1 or 20, whatever yours might be, it legitimizes them. That's probably the best word, because they're written down. You see them. Now, we learn, this I learned years ago, there's 3 different ways we learn. You know, we have audio, we see, we think, we write. So some people they're better at reading, they take it in via reading. Some people take things in better by hearing somebody telling them about it. You know, so everyone's a bit different in that regard. So in the writing down of things, it places a bit more importance on it. And because it's our hand writing it, it's coming from our brain, it's coming down on a piece of paper, it legitimizes it. So these things, I think, these are the practical things that save our butts. Because we can look to the big stuff. Oh, I need $1 million. I'll be happy. Oh, I need this. Or the best job. A new boyfriend. I want a trip. I want to, whatever. I'll be happy then. The way you get happy is from the inside out, not the outside in. All right. Think about the internet. This is really cool. When the internet came out, people had to, because in the beginning there wasn't so much file sharing and picture sharing. What you had to do was you were learning someone from the inside out. Right? I remember a chat room that we used to go to. It was fantastic. It had a little robot voice that spoke the text that was being typed. So really good for newbies that didn't know how to type. And I remember learning about people. I didn't know what they looked like. I mean, I knew where they were from because we'd talk about that in the chat, you know. It was a really good group of people. There was nothing smutty or ridiculous. Now, what happened was I realised one day, wow, do you know what? We're learning about each other from the inside out instead of in real life where we see someone and we just decide who they are by what they look like. And we all know the saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. However, in today's world, we're taught, don't worry about that, just look at the book. Judge the book. Don't worry about the contents, just judge the book, which is just utter bullshit, right? Just bullshit. Yeah, I know, right? So, and then, of course, as the internet went on and everyone shared photos, and then next thing, the judging came back in again. So if you can learn about yourself from the inside out, not requiring external acceptance for who you are, because you're going to be different to everybody. Now, there'll be things that are the same across the board, for sure, with all humans. However, your unique way of thinking, way of seeing things, your experiences, your things that delight you, things that bring you joy, things that bring you down, are all very, 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 very different to everybody else. So what's going to happen is your learning of yourself is going to be unique and authentic also. Absolutely. Because you are not like anybody else. And the one way to get the new car, the great house, the wonderful man, the $1 million, the blah, 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 will be when you have some modicum of understanding, love, and compassion for the person inside. Then what happens is you become a lot stronger because you know who you are. You can start to understand your core values. You know what you will and won't stand for. All right. And when you like it, when you know and like yourself, you will not put up with shit from anyone. In fact, the shit stops coming because you've changed as a person, you change who you are, your vibration goes up, because self-acceptance, self-love, positive self-talk, positive self-thought are what raise that vibration up. So what happens, everybody? Remember, once you're at that vibration, like attracts like. You can only bring to you the things that are like that vibration. So they're only the good things, the great happenstances, the serendipitous moments, the good timing, the wonderful people, the great experiences that come from this. And it's all going to come when you can get inside and start to learn about yourself. I would like to also interject, just to bring you up to speed on, the things that I do now are very, very different to my previous vocation. I'm now a women's transformologist. I am a person that works with a technique that gets down to the core of the rubbish that's stuck in your unconscious mind, which is the part you can't get to on your own. Right? You can do the positive things that I talk about. However, if you're stumped on stuff, you find you've got blocks, you've got all of any kind of negative emotion, PTSD, drama, trauma, jealousy, anger, depression. Gosh, my webpage is in the description below. If you go there, you'll see a list of 50, and that's just 50. There's probably, hundreds of emotional states that we can get stuck in. Now, I decided last year that I wanted to learn more. I needed to get beyond the last lot of things inside of me that were holding me up. I couldn't find them, and I've read a lot. I've done a lot. I am really, talk the talk, walk the walk. But there was something that I couldn't get to, and for all of my effort, I just could not get beyond it. Then I found Creatrix, which is a technique that was designed by a woman for women and how our brains work. Yes, they're very different to men's. They look grey and wrinkly. I guess if we took our head off, it would look the same to the layman. However, they're not. And I learned this, and now I have this wonderful qualification that allows me to get into your genetic cup. This is based in epigenetics, which is, it's not a new science, but it's the science of genes, our genes. And it has shown, did you know in every major city in hospitals and in labs, they're researching epigenetics. It's that big. It's that groundbreaking, because what's going to happen is there will be gender-specific medications, gender-specific understandings of how things work. I do workshops that are more online workshops that are more detailed in teaching women the differences about male, female, and in understanding now this new science and what it's teaching us about women. It's amazing stuff. It's amazing stuff. Again, on my webpage, you can read a bit more on that. Now, we come to this life with a genetic cup, all right? And it's already full. They've proven this. They know it. There's a Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD, is huge in this. I'll put his a link to his page in here. He's an amazing man. What happens is when we come into this life, we bring in genetic, through our genes, experiences, both good and bad, from every ancestor before us. Keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. So you didn't just come into this life and go, oh, look, I've got my dad's nose, or my grandma's knees, or, somebody's smile. You came with a whole lot more than that. A whole lot more than that. So what happens is now, this life, you're responding to, fears that are in you that came previously in with your genes. Do you understand? So what's happening is now you're having responses to stimuli in this life, but with memories in your genes from every other life. So if you had someone back there that feared water, that's probably the quickest I can grab real quick. You can come into this life with a fear of water before you've even been near water. You can be terrified of it without a current this life experience to give you a reason to be terrified by it. So this new modality, this new technique, is nothing short of absolutely mind-blowing. When I went through this, I had incredible anger issues on quite a few issues, but anger was one that pretty much ruled my life. And I hadn't realized how bad it was until I went through a breakthrough myself with the Creatrix and realized how much it had actually just taken over my life. So obviously there was stuff I brought in from previous lives, from my ancestors, that just compounded into this one and got worse and worse and worse. And what had happened is I hadn't even noticed. Because, we all pretend we're nice. And when people are seeing us, we want to stand up straight and, be nice and look good and look the part. But really, I was just horrible to myself. It was this constant battle. So after going through this breakthrough myself and knowing how different my life is now without all of that unbelievable chaos, just chaos in my mind. And imagine this, like I got a brain and I'm thinking all these things and it's dropping all these chemicals into my body. It was a constant battleground. It wasn't fun to live. It was horrible. And for all of my efforts in being positive and affirmations and reading this and webinars and e-courses and podcasts and you name it, I couldn't get to that bit until I learned that on an epigenetic level, I wouldn't have been able to get there. Hypnosis can sort of get there, but it doesn't go to the core. Not like this process, not like this technique, Creatrix. It gets in, goes to the root of the problem, and absolutely wipes it out. It's gone. You come out of a session, a 90-minute session, and you will have trouble remembering what you had problems with. It's that crazy. It's impossible to remember what was going on, the intensity of the emotion, all of it's just gone. So if you too find that you are in a situation where you can't quite get to your full game, you know you're missing something, you know there's something else, but you just can't find it, then maybe you're like I was, and maybe Creatrix is what will work for you too. So that also is written, there's quite a bit of information on my webpage. Please go over and have a look. It is worth your time to invest this time in learning what's available for you and understanding that how you're feeling today, you can change that. Imagine this, if you don't change anything, what's your life going to be like in 6 months? What about a year? What about every single weekend from now on till there's no more weekends, until you're, dead? Every one of those weekends, those situations, those relationships, if you want that great man in your life, you need to clear out this crap, because he's not coming otherwise. Or you're going to attract the man that wants that kind of broken person, those sorts of things. So you don't want him, because you don't want to keep those broken things in yourself, do you? So in wanting, you know what you want, we know what we dream of, but about getting there can be the trick. But the creatrix process is nothing short of astounding. It's painless. You don't have to share your story. None of your traumatic events need to be spoken about. In fact, I don't speak about them with my clients. We don't talk about it. We just get straight in, because there's no need to keep revisiting the pain over and over and over. We want that shit gone, right? This does it. And I can tell you right now, that was, 15 months ago. All I've done is change for the better. Things have just gotten better and better and better, because I've taken all of this stuff out that didn't belong to my life. It didn't belong to me. And the cool part is, I've stopped it. There you go, it's stopped. Imagine if you're a woman and you want to have a family. Once you clear all that crap out, you can't pass it on anymore. So all the thousands of generations of God only knows how many in your genes, gone. It stops right now. And I work with professional women, all right, real estate, women that really they know what they want to do. They're there, they're feisty, they're getting into it, and they know what they want to do. However, there's this one element that holds them back. So they do the next thing. I'll do this course. I'll read this book. I'll buy that DVD. I'll do all these things because it's going to make it go away. I know there's something there, but I'm just going to keep searching until I can get it. Well, Creatrix gets it and boots that stuff out of the ballpark. Gone for good. Imagine that. Gone for good. So every breath from that point forward, every weekend from that point forward, every festive moment from that point forward, every relationship, whether it's going to be a romantic, or it's at work, or it's with family, or it's with friends, or even your animals, even your pets. Everything changes. Because then you are now, once you get rid of it, you're an authentic you. No other rubbish in there, no from whoever, way back. All of the traumas, the good and the bad, all the bad, gone. So I invite you to learn a bit more about this and to speak with me. And I offer a clarity call, a free 20-minute clarity call to anybody who wants to find out a bit more about this. It's obligation free. I'm not into any pushing or hard sell. That's not my gig. Anyone who knows me knows that. I mean, I don't like that. Because I believe every single person, if given the correct information and the right amount of information for themselves, will make a perfectly good decision on their own. Absolutely. So that's my chat for Friday. It's lovely Friday. And I'm hoping it's going to rain today. Woo-hoo, that'll be nice on the weekend. So please accept all of my information with love and with empathy toward everybody. And look now, and yes, I'm now named. Cheryl Goes Live. Yay, I have a name for my lives. And also here, letting you know that I'm here each week, Monday and Friday, 1 p.m. Brisbane time, which is, UTC plus 10. So I look forward to you coming in and sharing. Also, if you like what you are seeing, oh, Nicole, I didn't see you there. I kind of never know which button to press, and and then I can't see, and there's been comments and I didn't see them. I will see them after I turn this off. So everyone who did comment, thank you so much, and I will respond to your comments. Where was I going before? Yes, so please share the videos. If you get value from this, please share them. Other people do too. If you want to see my other videos, which I've done maybe about 45 now, you can go to my YouTube channel where I put every single one of them. And some of them are long, I know. I'm getting better at keeping them a bit shorter. However, the topics I talk about are not a 1, 2, 3. Here's how to make scrambled eggs. Get the eggs, get the milk, get the pan, turn it on, beat them up, put it in. It's not like that. It's not that simple. And each person is not that simple. What I want is practical information for the average person, for the anybody person. So you go home and use it. Again, secretly if you want to, because there's always going to be dream stealers, right? And sometimes when you're changing in your life and you're becoming more positive and you're stretching and reaching further and wanting more, sadly, there will be people that are family, friends, work colleagues that you love and they love you. However, there's some people that don't want you to change because they like you. It's like I said in my thing, misery loves company, so does negativity. So some people like it when you're broken or like it when you're in whatever state. And so they don't want to, they don't try to bring you down. Some do, but some just, they're negative and it's a little undertone and a little undertow, and you keep seeing them being this nice person and, well, they would want the best for me. They're telling me they want the best for me, yet they do like passive aggressive moves, you know, or just nasty things. So be ready for this. And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, it's got nothing to do with you, even though you would think, but nothing to do with you. It has to do with their inadequacies or how the drama in their head. They have their own movie going on, their own chemical happening, you know. They've got a toxic, crazy thing going on. And so some people also don't want to change. Yeah, see whoever sent those hearts up, they know. So be ready and don't slow down your own pace and your own growth to make other people that don't want to grow, to make them feel comfortable. Because what's going to happen? A year from now, you're still there pandering to these people and you're stuck in the same spot. Oh, it's Lois. I just saw your face. So remember that and be prepared to just love them from afar. That's okay. They got their own problems. You might be able to help them, but it's not your job to help them, okay? Just your growth is just up to you. Move forward. If you need someone to talk to, you can always message me. You got a problem, you can message me. I'm here on Facebook. You can find me. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming in today and being on my Cheryl Goes Live. Woo-hoo. Thank you very much. Have a really wonderful Friday. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. I'll get better at this. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Take care. Be well. Bye.